Okay, so part 2. All right, so our method for solving is clear the denominator. Okay, so we need to know what our common denominator is. So we look at each factor in our denominator. We have a factor of x by itself. Remember, this is one factor. We also have a factor of x minus 3. And a single factor of x, we already have that. So our LCD is x times x minus 3. Our restrictions, what would each of these factors have, what would make each of these factors equal to 0? So for the single factor of x can't be 0, because then that factor would be 0. And for this factor, if x were positive 3, then this factor would equal 0. Okay, they're essentially the zeros. All right, now I'm going to multiply both sides by the LCD. So x times x minus 3. And over here, x times x minus 3. And remember, this is the top only. Okay, I can do this because I can do the same thing to both sides of the equal sign. Okay, now when I do that, I'm going to distribute the LCD to each fraction on the left side. So when I do that to the first fraction, the single factors of x will cancel, leaving me with 2 times x minus 3. Okay, and then when I multiply the LCD by the second fraction, the x minus 3 factors will cancel, leaving me with 1 times x, or just 1x, or x. And on the right side, my single factors of x will cancel, leaving me with just 4 times x minus 3. So we no longer have any denominators. We have no fractions. Now we just solve like normal. Distribute the 2, distribute the 4 on this side. 2x minus 6 plus 1x equals 4x minus 12. Like terms on the left side, we can combine those into 3x minus 6 equals 4x minus 12. X is on both sides, so we remove 1. So now we have negative 6 equals 1x, or just x minus 12. Then we can add 12 to get x by itself. Negative 6 plus 12 is 6. Okay, and then we just have to take a look, our answer, look back up at our restrictions. If our answer matches a restriction, we have to get rid of it. And it doesn't. 6 is not one of our excluded values, so we get to put 6 in the solution set. Okay, coming down to example B, this one is an example of where we have to make sure all denominators are in factored form. So our first fraction is fine, x plus 2, can't factor that, but x squared minus 4 is a difference of squares. So this would be x plus 2 times x minus 2 equals, and then that's just a whole number 1. So if we want it to have a denominator, we can put all whole numbers over 1. So we can make it look like that. Okay, so our common denominator, we go and we look, we have a factor of x plus 2. Okay, I already have that x plus 2. I need a factor of x minus 2. And a factor of 1, but we always have a factor of 1, right? There's always a hidden 1 here, so I don't need to write that. Okay, excluded values, what can x not equal? It can't equal negative 2, because this would be 0, and it can't equal positive 2, because this would equal 0. All right, so we multiply both sides by the LCD. And this side by the LCD. Okay. All right, now when I multiply the LCD times the first fraction, it will cancel with the x plus 2. So the x minus 2 is left, so I have 3 times x minus 2 plus, when I multiply the LCD by the second fraction, the entire LCD cancels out, so I'm just left with the numerator, 2, equals, when I multiply the LCD by this fraction, nothing in the denominators cancel. We don't have an x plus 2 or an x minus 2 down here. So it's just 1 times this. So it's x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay, now we have to solve. So we're going to have to multiply out both sides to see what we have for like terms to combine. So multiply the 3. So we get 3x minus 6 plus 2 equals. And yeah, we are going to have to multiply that back up, but we know that it's factors of x squared minus 4, so we know that's just x squared minus 4. Okay, so what I notice here is that this is a quadratic equation because there's an x squared. So if it's quadratic, we got to think, how do we solve that? We have to set it equal to 0, and then we factor and solve. So everything is going to go on the side where your x squared is. So, well, I guess I can combine negative 6 and 2 together first. 3x minus 4 equals x squared minus 4. Okay, so I want everything on the side with x squared. So that means I'm going to subtract 3x. And I'm going to add 4. So I have 0 equals, I have x squared. Those cancel out, right? Minus 4 plus 4. So I just have x squared minus 3x, which can be factored. It doesn't have to be a trinomial. There is a common factor of x here. So we factor the common factor of x. X times what makes x squared? X. X times what makes negative 3x? Negative 3. Okay, so I set each factor equal to 0 and solve. So one of my answers is just x equals 0. The other one is positive 3. And I just check against my restrictions. Do either of these match a restricted value? No. So they are both valid solutions. So they both go in the solution set. Okay. Letter C. Okay. Check if I can factor my denominators, and I just see 9 and x. So I know that my LCD is 9 times x. Restriction, x cannot equal 0. Because then we'd have 0 in the denominator. Okay, multiply both sides by 9x. Okay, remember, if this is confusing you, this is technically in the top of the fraction. Okay, so if you need to put a little over 1 there, you can do that. Okay, so we have to distribute to this fraction, 9x times x over 9. The 9's cancel out, leaving us with x squared. 9x times the second fraction, the x's will cancel out, leaving me with 9 times negative 1, which is negative 9. And then over here, the entire LCD cancels out, just leaving us with 7. Okay, it's quadratic, but since we just have a quadratic and a constant, we can use the square root method. Just get everything off to the right side. 7 plus 9 is 16. So we can just square root. But remember, when we use the square root property when solving an equation, we have to remember to do the positive and negative square root. So our answer is both positive and negative 4. Maybe. Compare it with an excluded restriction, and it doesn't match. So both 4 and negative 4 are solutions. Okay. Okay, we go to D, and here I notice that both denominators are trinomials. So we have to make sure that we are looking at these in their factored form. So we have to make sure that our denominators are factored. So we have to factor the denominators. So I'm going to rewrite this. So this is 4 over factors of 6 that add to 5. X plus 3, x plus 2 equals 2 over factors of 8 that add to 6, x plus 4, x plus 2. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 plus 2 is 6. Okay, what is my common denominator? And I go looking at each factor in the denominator. So I need an x plus 3. Okay, I need an x plus 2. I need an x plus 4. And x plus 2, but I already have that. So I have 3 factors in my LCD. So I'm going to have 3 excluded values. So x can't equal negative 3, negative 2, or negative 4. All right, multiply the LCD. Oh, this one's a lot of writing. X plus 3 times x plus 2 times x plus 4 Okay. So we have just one fraction on each side. So x plus 3 is going to cancel. X plus 2 is going to cancel, leaving us with 4 times x plus 4 equals, and then over here, the x plus 4's cancel, the x plus 2's cancel, leaving us with 2 times x plus 3. Okay, so now we just solve, distribute. For x plus 16 equals 2x plus 6. We need x's on one side, minus 2x. 4x minus 2x is 2x. And I'm going to subtract 16. 6 minus 16 is negative 10. So divide by 2. X is negative 5. Compare that to my restrictions, and it doesn't match. So we can keep negative 5 as an answer, as our solution. Okay, one last one. Okay. So in this case, we can't factor these two denominators, but this is a difference of squares, so this can be rewritten. And actually, these are both the factors of this, right? So 3 over x plus 1 minus 1 over, whoops, that's a minus 1, not a plus 1. Going too fast. That's a minus 1. And this is x plus 1. Equals 2 over x plus 1, x minus 1, because these are the factors of our difference of two squares. And these are factors in themselves. Okay, so our LCD is x minus 1, x plus 1, and we have both of those here. Okay? All right, so x can't equal 1 or negative 1. Now we multiply by the LCD. Okay. Distribute to the first fraction on the left. The x minus 1's cancel out, leaving me with 3 times x plus 1. Distribute to the second fraction. The x plus 1's cancel out, leaving me with x minus 1 times negative 1. So it's just minus 1 times x minus 1 equals, and then on this side, the whole thing cancels out because it's just one fraction. So we just have 2. Okay. Now, simplify each side of the equal sign. So distribute the 3, distribute the negative 1. Got to be careful on this one that when I distribute the negative 1, I have negative 1 times negative 1, which is a positive 1. Okay, so that's the part we got to be careful of. Combine like terms, so 3x minus an x is 2x, and 3 plus 1 is 4. Then we subtract 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. Then divide by 2. X is negative 1. But when I compare that against my restriction, it matches a restriction. It matches an excluded value. X cannot equal this number. So that means that this is an extraneous solution, okay, because it matches a restriction. Or another word for that is an excluded value. Excluded value. Okay, so it was my only answer, and I couldn't use it, so that means this one, nothing goes in my solution set. This one has no solution. Okay, so can't forget to check our answers against our restriction. That's part of the reason why we figure those out right at the beginning.